you know, it has to have something to do with when and where this all comes from, how it started, right? So obviously it comes from the hood. It comes from, you know, a lot of poor people, people that come from broken homes, broken families, you know, people that have been traumatized, people trying to find a getaway or a new outlet. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these people who were super talented, they were probably going through some shit as kids.
So by the time this comes out, you will have participated in another panel, the Battle Cry, and the tagline is "It's all love, or is it?" Right? Something to that effect. And they're talking about I don't know for sure because it hasn't happened yet, but it sounds like we're gonna get into this black and brown ordeal that we have, not just in politics, but not just in hip hop, but in politics. It seems across the board. So, in your opinion, would you say that it's black and brown, like black and brown, or do you see it more as like from your experiences and even past your experiences, right? Like just looking at the national scene and the history of the groups. Do you think it's like black people over here and then brown people over here, and sometimes we interact, but as far as any like deep connection where where you got a capital A-N-D for the and, that's not really happening? How do you feel about that?
Well, this conversation comes up because it's sometimes it's difficult to explain because the way we were raised in New York is a little bit different from the rest of the United States. So like for us, we grew up more integrated. So in New York, I think we could say black and brown, is more like this. But like say in California or in Chicago, which is not too far from New York, you have your areas where you have black gangs and like Latino gangs, and they're really going at it, and it's territorial. Whereas where we grew up, it was more, we all lived together in the same houses and same buildings. So it's hard for other people to understand how for us, it's just different. You know what I mean? It's more mixed here. So I can understand how it's different, say in LA or some shit where, it is, blacks here, brown here, you know what I'm saying? Asians here, a little more separated in different places. But in New York, since childhood, like we just grew up like that. That's just how we were raised. I guess it's the thing about big cities, it's the thing, but like, I don't know. It's just we're in a unique place, I guess, in New York. Probably the reason why it birthed so much things, because there's so much diversity. It's a melting pot. So, yeah, you've been out here, right?
Yeah. Matter of fact, yeah, I think I think the first time I met you was out there. To be
Yeah,
honest, because I remember when you came to Arizona, that wasn't the first time I had seen you.
now I think you had came to our practice spot. You had like some sneaker bags. You were like shopping.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that. I think I was yeah, I remember that. And I think I was up there for Rocksteady anniversary, and when we was doing the Illskillz magazine back then.
Yeah, I remember you had your cap like this, flipped up.
Yeah, that used to be my joint. I'm
Looking
fedoraed
like
out
Fresh
now.
Prince. Looking like the Fresh Prince and shit.
Right? Yeah, man. But yeah, so what I was gonna say next is, do you think
Yo,
that, go ahead, back to
my
your
bad.
point. No, you were talking, go ahead.
But I don't think that the panel is about that. I think we're definitely gonna get into that. But the panel is more about like I think it's more like how we like kind of like take advantage, disrespect, and take things for granted and kind of violate each other. So it's kind of like airing out some form of abuse that we go through and that we take and that we don't talk about, you know, as men, like man
Right.
up, suck that shit up. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I
Walk
think
it
that's
off.
what the conversation is more about. And, you know, with the battling shit, how not everybody is like, I'm not gonna say built for it, but not everybody is into it. You know what I'm saying? Like this, you could wall out and take somebody's hat and throw it and he'll laugh. But there's certain individuals that if you even do a gesture, they're gonna punch you in the face, right? So every individual is different. And then it's also like, maybe I'm not here for that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm just here to express myself. I'm not here to, you know, deal with confrontation because I don't deal with it well. Then we might have to fight or some shit, you know? So I think that is more based on that, like the different aspects of battling and how people take it and how it can be traumatizing or how it can be triggering, you know. That's what I'm taking. That's what I'm taking from it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes, obviously, sometimes there's that animosity between people. So obviously those conversations will come up where it's like, yo, you know, y'all bugging out, y'all over here wilding out, like you saying this and that, like, you know, you being disrespectful. So, I mean, it's all, I guess, to air things out, put it out there and make people like feel, I guess, more comfortable with speaking up, you know, and not holding it in or maybe setting boundaries. Like, bro, I don't do that. You know, I don't rock like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's
And it,
that's what I think. You know,
right. And it makes total sense because as the dance expands, it starts. I mean, everybody that breaks ain't some kid from the hood no more.
and we're men now, right?
Right. Everybody that breaks
And
ain't
women.
under 18. Yeah, and everybody that breaks ain't a dude. And you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's
And
like,
that's another thing too. Like some dudes be violating women, and that's not cool neither. We can't stand by and let it
right,
happen neither. You know, because
right.
then you letting it happen. You facilitating.
But Jiggz, man, I'm gonna have to be 100% honest with everybody. I'm not giving up my handgun, man. I'm not, man. I'm coming. I don't. I got to do it, man. And
Fuck
I ain't gonna
that.
front, man. When I yeah, exactly. I got a whole yeah. When I do it, I go into the situation knowing that there could be a consequence. That's my advice to anybody who has an aggressive style. Just go in knowing that there could be a consequence, and you know, and don't get mad if you run into that consequence because you knew it could happen. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
No
exactly.
doubt. Kind of talking about what we were talking about as far as that the black and brown thing. Do you think Latinos get the respect they deserve in hip hop?
Yeah, I think they do. But yeah, there's been like conversations in the breaking scene about, you know, certain people being guests in hip hop and, you know, people were questioning if Latinos are guests in hip hop. And some people were saying yes, some people were arguing no. And, you know, if anything, it just brought like unnecessary tension in the air where, you know, instead of people looking at each other's similarities and struggles and creativity and contributions, you know, they're like just trying to separate things and claim things or you know, say that people are creating a narrative to kind of take away from others, which I mean, to me is just like I think that time tells a story, you know. And if you really want to look into it, like do your history, look at the demographics, you know. Let's talk about where, you know, if y'all want to say break it started here or there, look at who were the people around, you know, who was the contributors. It's the story's there, you know what I'm saying? There's no, I don't think that there's any going around it. But yeah, I think it all goes back to like some people not wanting to feel left out, Latinos in particular, not wanting to be left out from being the founders of hip hop. But I never seen it like, I always looked at it like hip hop is Black culture. You know, I never seen it any different. You know, so I always felt like, yeah, we're down too, you know. It was, but I would never like try to say, yeah, Latinos started this. This is ours. Like, no, I don't believe that. You know, look at the major heads like that people talk about. You know, Herc, Flash, Bambaataa. You know, even like with the B.Boys, Legendary Twins. You know, now learning about other B.Boys from Herc's parties. You know, and they had their contributions, and whether they were in the game and or they weren't in the game for too long, you still gotta acknowledge them, you know? And it's cool because, you know, something has to start somewhere, you know, and you can't switch it up. But there's like it's interesting because, you know, there's also like a lot of things like involved like semantics, and then people like from this side of the neighborhood and that side of the neighborhood, and you know, stories being told. And remember, this is like over 40 years ago too.
Right.
You know, sometimes I have trouble remembering something that happened last summer.
Right.
You know, so things switch up, you know,
No
and
doubt.
but you know, as far as like Latinos in hip hop, like always been a part of it, always been involved and been contributors and brought certain type of flavor to the table. And like I always say, like I think we're all guests, and thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? Then I get a chance to step in and do my thing, and you know, contribute, bring something to the table. Like I said, so it's a thing that now it's universal. There's no doubt about it. Like you can't tell anybody now, oh, you're a guest. Like I think we're all guests in a sense, but yeah, there's the founders and the pioneers, and we gotta always like acknowledge that, give them their props,
Right.
and keep building off of that, and
To your
you know,
point,
give the respect where it's due.
right. To your point, I think people just get caught up on the word guest. Like guest mean like as if it means less than. Like, for instance, if you come out to Arizona, I would have you as a guest to my house. You be a
Mm-hmm.
respected guest. I want you there. And if you bring something like, you know how sometimes people bring a little gift to somebody's house, that gift stays in the house. It's the gift that I got from Jiggz, and now it's a part of the house. He's contributed to my house, right? He's a respected guest. He has legacy in my house. I don't understand, like, I think it's just the word guest that people are like, no, man, I created this, or I made this move, da 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 da. And they think that the guest, it just takes on a negative connotation for them, not realizing
Yeah,
that there's really nothing wrong with being a guest. I mean, most people are
I,
guests in America, and it ain't stopping them.
I've even said it to like some older heads, like, yo, man, like it doesn't take away from who you are, what you've done, and you know what you've contributed. You know, like it doesn't take away from you, you know, to give somebody else props. You know, if anything, it makes you look more honorable, right?
Yeah,
So, I
man.
mean, for the love of the game and everything, like you gotta appreciate everybody.
Word. Man, and I think on that note, that is a great place to conclude, man. I appreciate you stopping by, coming through. It's been great to talk to you. Haven't talked to you in so long, reconnecting, and I'm you helped us with our I guess our mission, which is basically just to show the humanity and the superhuman, man. And your stories are definitely going to be added to the legacy that is beyond the Cypher, man. So thanks again. And hopefully, when all this COVID stuff is over and you find yourself in Arizona, you can come on to the actual man cave and we can have it have the face to face conversation, man. Maybe we'll break down some of your legacy battles.
No doubt. Or anytime, you know, we could talk on the phone or whatever, and you know, we could keep on with this conversation here. I know we could talk about this all day,
No
you know.
doubt.
But
Man,
yeah, shout out to everybody that, you know, somehow helped me and or inspired me or even motivated me, even if it was to get better and battle. But you know, you can't just go about this and not acknowledge the journey. You know, it's always something that's gonna continue, and you build off of that. It makes you who you are, and it doesn't mean that I can't get better or change. You know what I'm saying? So, peace and shout out to everybody who took time out to show me love and put me on to this dope ass art. And I've met a lot of dope people, and I'm grateful for that. So thanks for having me again, Chris.
Cool, man. Peace. For more quality content from Beyond the Cypher with Illskillz, don't forget to press the like and subscribe buttons. Let us know how we're doing down in the comment section, and to make sure that you don't miss anything from the channel, smash that notification bell. We appreciate the love and support. Peace until the next episode.